All right, welcome to the recap. So today was very terrible, and I'll explain why. But originally coming into the day, I was super bullish because it looked to me like Monday and Tuesday manipulated lower into the weekly gap. So we hit the weekly gap, and then we also hit this daily rejection block right here. And we had this 4-hour rejection block. So same idea on ES. Hit the weekly gap, and then we actually hit this 1-hour gap that I wanted to see. Well, we hit this yesterday. And then we had this SMT with this daily low here. So right here was the SMT. So originally I was bullish, but I kind of flipped my bias, and I'll explain why, but also the daily open lower into this daily rejection block. And then we closed above 1800. Midnight open also traded lower. And then we had all these highs as my draw, and on ES we have this daily gap as my draw. And we hadn't rebalanced this 4-hour leg yet. So I did expect London to be the low. But what happened is at open, we were inside this 4-hour gap. And then I noticed that, so we have this 4-hour rejection block. And what I really wanted to see for longs is the CE of this to get hit, because we had these lows here as engineered liquidity pretty much for the CE of this 4-hour rejection block. But because London low didn't hit the CE of this, and we hadn't swept out London low, we just left it. I wanted to see London low get swept first, which sounded, I kind of faded that idea because it kind of sounded crazy, like that we would reverse this whole move here. Because obviously we're super bullish here. We closed above London high and 1800. So I didn't really expect this whole move to get reversed. So I had London low as an idea in my head, but I wasn't exactly sure we'd actually come all the way down there. But we actually did, because we had this SMT and ES trades into the 4-hour gap. We have this SMT here. And at open, we actually come down and sweep London low because of this 4-hour gap and the SMT. And I just waited for 10 a.m. here because I wasn't super confident in shorting this, but I also wasn't super sure about longing this because this looked pretty heavy. And 9:30, you could say it's a Judas swing higher, but you could also argue that it's a Judas lower here because it didn't really sweep these highs. But I'm not sure if there's really much of an entry for shorts. Maybe you just market order something. But anyways, I wait for 10 a.m. to open. Let me just get out of here. And there's a lot of drawings here. Let me just get rid of these. Alright. So, what we had at 10 a.m. is we already swept out London low right here, but we still had the CE of this 4-hour rejection block. So, this was still my draw. It was also the CE of the daily rejection block. So I still wanted this to get hit. They pretty much were in the same spot. And we made this 4-hour rejection block up here. And ES made a 1-hour rejection block as well out of this 4-hour gap. So there's two scenarios for 10 a.m. Either it opens higher into this 4-hour rejection block, so either it comes higher up here and rebalances this 5-minute leg, right? And this is kind of what I wanted to see just because the draw was pretty clear to me. So something like this maybe hit 1800 as well. But we reacted off of midnight open right here, and 10 a.m. actually traded lower. And what I wanted to see, if 10 a.m. was going to open lower, I wanted to see this 4-hour rejection block. And I wanted to see this 1-hour gap on ES get hit, but it's just a small gap and we ended up leaving this. But it would have been nice if we hit that as well. But you can see on ES it's pretty clear AMD here. So we just accumulated, and then this was the manipulation. Same thing here. So we swept London low, which I viewed as engineered liquidity for this right here. And what I saw is, okay, this was perfect for me because 10 a.m. opens lower here, and I just expected this 1-hour candle to flip bullish and maybe even the 4-hour. So I expected a pretty big expansion off of this, at least to this 4-hour rejection block up here. And I did see this 1-minute rejection block right here at 10:12, and it does tap the daily rejection block CE as well. So I actually almost took this 1 minute, but I didn't take this because the new 15-minute candle was about to open right here. So this actually got reswept, and we made a new 1 minute right here with the new 15-minute candle opening. So I avoided this first loss here, and then I saw this 2-minute rejection block. So the 1 minute was really small here. So I wanted to wait for a 3-minute, which we didn't really get, but the 2-minute looked really good here. So I went ahead and took this 2-minute and targeted this. So I would, first TP would just be this high, and then for the runner, it would be these highs. So this was like the most perfect thing I've ever seen. But what happened and where I messed up is my entries right here. Once ES hit 10 a.m., I went break even. So right around here. But it was just too soon of a break even. So yeah, I got scared. Like I was really sure about this, but got kind of scared and went break even too soon. I should have gone break even once NQ actually hit 10 a.m. So I get break even stopped here, which is fine. And then I went ahead and re-entered on this 1-minute rejection block here, which is just like, it kind of makes sense, but not really. Like this is kind of just a random rejection block. But I pretty much just market ordered like here and have my stop under this 1 minute, which could have worked, but yeah. Ended up getting stopped on that. So I get stopped out here. And we pretty much came down. We came down pretty far into this leg here. There was a tiny 5-minute that we almost tapped, and the 4-minute got tapped as well. And this is kind of when I started crashing out because I knew I was right about the trade, but I get break even stopped, and then my re-entry is just not very good. I get stopped on that because my stop needs to be below this low here. And then I went ahead and re-entered somewhere around here once we started coming back up. I'm not sure where. It might have been here or here. And it was somewhere around here. And I had my stop below this low because I was like, all right, my stop is just going to have to be below this low. But what ended up happening is because of the first loss, I was down like 200 on the live account that I trade. And what happened is price came down and it didn't hit my stop loss, but I got taken out of the trade because of the daily loss limit that I have set on the live account, which is 400. So I risked a little bit too much on this because I was like rushed trying to get a re-entry. So because I risked a little too much on this, I ended up just getting taken out of it because I was, I guess, down like 200 here in drawdown. So I got taken out of the trade and then it ran. So yeah, basically all of that happened because I went break even too soon. And then the second trade gave me a loss because my stop was way too tight. But yeah, this ended up playing out like how expected, which is extremely unfortunate that I wasn't able to catch this. And after that, my live account was locked because of the 400 loss. And then I went ahead and just traded my eval. So I just took a long here on my eval once we closed past 10 a.m. for something like this, which is kind of just random. And then my entry was like here. And then I like saw this 5-minute rejection block off of 1800 and saw price coming back down, so just closed this for like a super small win. And then like took a short off of this 5-minute rejection block here and got break even because my TP was at 10 a.m. for some reason, and got break even on the eval, and then took another short right here off of this little 1-minute rejection block, which made no sense, and got stopped on that, and then hit daily loss limit on my eval. So yeah, pretty terrible day. Like pretty much broke all my rules, which is unfortunate just because I decided to go break even too soon because I got a little scared. But whatever, my accounts are fine. Thankfully, I have a daily loss limit set on the live account, or it might be gone. So very unfortunate that I pretty much knew the move, expected London low, kind of, and then got a perfect entry off of this 4-hour rejection block. And this would have been like such a nice trade if I didn't go break even. This would have been so nice. Like I would just hold this because this 4-hour I would expect to just close bullish and sweep this high. Like, bro. But oh well. So moving forward, what I'm gonna do and what I need to be doing is if I do get break even or take a loss, I'm gonna set a timer right here. I'm gonna set a timer for 10 minutes, and I'm not going to be taking any trades until the 10 minutes is up. Even if it's super obvious, too bad, because I'm gonna have a timer right here. But yeah, I mean, I think this was like the most clean trade I've seen in a really long time, to be honest. August has been not the best, but hopefully come fall time, this will clean up. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully this all makes sense, and I'll see you guys in the next one.